Into the ball game is Paul Mokeski, who's become kind of a cult hero in Milwaukee, Tommy.
Fred Roberts hits Mokeski at the other end.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of We Got Next. I'm Ricky Hampton with my great friend, the big fella, Paul Mokeski, Grandpa Mo. How you doing, good brother?
I'm good. It's Pop, man, not Grandpa.
That's what I am. I'm Pop.
Oh,
yeah?
That's because we're two of the same guys, man. We're both Pop.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. It's the greatest thing in the world. And another great thing we get to do, Mo, is get together every week and discuss NBA and sports and just chop it up for an hour with our great friends here at Sports Fluent. And I hope everybody's tuned in. Tell your friends about us. We're here every Monday. Paul Mokeski, 12 years in the NBA, coached, scouted. He's done it at every level of professional basketball. And one of the most knowledgeable guys I know about the game of professional basketball. And what I've always respected about you, Mo, even when I was a reporter covering you, was you were one of them guys, you brought it when you came to play. I mean, yeah, you felt, I'm going to let you tell us, but some of these guys feel a responsibility to go out there and do their jobs night after night, whether you feel good, whether you banged up or not. And we got others that don't, to be quite frankly.
Well, I mean, if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have had a career that I had. I wouldn't have had a 12-year career. I don't know what would have happened. So, number one, I was smart enough to realize that. I mean, I had talent. I could play. But, to play at that level, I knew I had to, accept a role of, back when I was in Detroit and you covered me, I was a starter. I started most of the games and played a lot. But for the most of the career, I was coming off the bench and being a valuable member in an 8-man rotation, which in my opinion is just as important as starting. But sometimes, I would finish the game even though I didn't start it. That's more important. So, I knew my value to teams and coaches. And you know what I learned how to do? I learned how to make myself valuable to coaches so they wouldn't cut me and they would play me. So, when a coach looks down the bench and sees, there's 10 faces looking at you or 8 or whatever that is, and they're looking for someone to put in, they're going to put in somebody they trust, somebody that does the job, somebody that's there for them, and someone that's going to be prepared to do that job. Now, I talked to somebody the other day, I equate coming off the bench in the NBA as a NASCAR driver or IndyCar driver coming from the pit stop into the full swing of the race. So you're going from zero to going on a track where cars are going 250 miles an hour, and you got to blend in, and you got to be ready to blend in. And I think that's the skill of coming off the bench. You got to come off cold to a bunch of guys that have been in there playing, and you got to pick up the speed right away and blend in and do your job. So it's a skill too, being able to come off the bench.
So Mo, I'm just throwing this out there. So the first thing you did to blend in when you came off the bench, you popped somebody under the basket. No, I'm just joking with you.
Well, you know what football players say. The game doesn't start till you get a hit in. So but what I did do is I'm telling you what I didn't do. Take a shot. What I did do was rebound or set a pick or dive on the floor or get my juices flowing that way. And then when I have blended into the rest of the race cars that are going, I can take my shot at the right time.
And the reason I didn't mean for us to start this conversation off with this, but we were talking earlier today about a story's been going around for really the last few months about Ben Simmons possibly retiring. It's really just he hadn't said anything like he's going to do that. But I was wondering about professional athletes' legacy. And I was talking to you about your legacy, and yours is very simple. You played hard, you played the right way, and you came to work every day.
I helped teams win.
Yeah, and I think that's important. And the money's important. Of course, the money's important, but I would want to leave that too, because I've been with you when you've been out and about, and people see you. Oh yeah, that guy did not mess around when he was on the court.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the money, which is so huge now, and I understand that. I wish I had it, but I understand it. I was thinking about I might be talking to the UNLV basketball team here coming up, and my point to them is, don't worry about the future. You start worrying about, am I going to be in the NBA? Am I going to start this season? I mean, just worry about today. Take care about today the best you can, and be the best player you can, and then the rest is going to take care of itself. But guys that start worrying about all this stuff, the money and how am I going to get paid. Magic Johnson said it a long time ago when he was coach of the Lakers for about 42 days until he quit and he couldn't put up with the crap. He said, you know what? The players today have it all turned around. They don't understand. You know what players today do? They chase the money. And that's the wrong thing. What you should do is be the best player you can, win championships, and the money will chase you. It'll be the other way around. So, that's all part of the deal. But, everyone's path is different. And when you talk about Ben Simmons, just look at his path over, the last 5 or 6 years, from an MVP candidate in Philadelphia when he was almost a triple-double guy. Remember that?
Yeah.
And one of the best defenders in the league. And then, he had injuries, which you can't control. You can control how you come back from those injuries. And he had injuries, but then he took the path of, okay, trade me. I don't fit in here. Trade me. And then when he went somewhere else, he's the same, trade me. And, he got on a spiral that he couldn't get out of. And, quite frankly, I think his talents have diminished. So if your talents diminish and you're not the guy, the person someone wants on their team, see you later. We'll find somebody else. That's what happens. But if you keep your attitude right, you could finally you could probably keep a spot on the team in the league. But, his just downward spiral. And then, it started with his confidence and missing layups in a playoff game. And then, some of the things he could control, some of the teams he couldn't control. But, that's sports. I mean, it happens in all sports. Sometimes it's like that.
And Mo, I doubt very seriously if he retires this year, he will make $40 million this season. He will make, whoever signs him, he'll command $40 million.
No, he won't. I mean, he played for minimum last year. He played for vet minimum.
Let's see. I'm looking at his salary right now.
No one's going to pay him $40 million at all. Someone, I think, who did he play for? The Clippers?
No, you're right. He's free agent. He's free agent.
Yeah, but he played for the Clippers last year, right?
Yeah, he made $40 million last year. Yeah.
Yeah, so his contract's up.
Right.
Yeah, and teams have moved on. At this point, most of the teams have spent their big money. It's already spent. So it's going to be a question of, do you want to come to a winning team and help contribute, if you still can, and make, the measly minimum of $5 or $6 million a year or 10, whatever.
Poor guy. Poor guy. And that's what we talk about, guys who love basketball and those who are they just happen to be really good at basketball and don't necessarily love it, but they're really good at it.
Yeah, and you know what? We used to say it all the time. Those guys, you'll find out who those guys are, because when they play hard and get a great contract, how do they play the next year? What do their stats look like the next year? When a lot of those guys that feel that way, they don't love the game, and they get their bag, then that's it. I got it. So now I can kind of slack off and, good enough to, be one of the better players. That's okay, or a good player. And, that's how I'm going to end up my career because I got my bag already. The guys that care about and want to win championships are the guys that are still going to play hard and get better. Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, the great guys, players they got better every year. Look at their success. They got better every year. Michael Jordan couldn't hit a three-pointer to save his life first couple of years in the league. Then he became a good three-point shooter. So you got to continue on your game. And those are the guys you want on your team.
Hey, quickly, Mo, did you remember? Because you played against MJ when he first came in, and you guys, I think y'all were just beating them up, the Bucks. But do you remember the scouting report when you went in there to see him, or when he came to Milwaukee?
Yeah, I mean, make him go left. Give him some space for his jump shot. Get in front of him in transition. Don't let him get out on the floor because it's all over then. That was it. Then, 6 years later, you got to get up on him on his jump shot. You can't push him either way because he can finish going either way. Now he can go into the low post and post up your guards. Now we got a problem there because he's got a fadeaway jump shot and he's got all that stuff underneath. So yeah, that's I played against him in one of his first games. It was in Milwaukee, and I remember him getting a breakaway and rising up and doing one of his flying dunks and going, oh, okay, but let's make him make a jump shot, and we'll beat you because you don't have the best players around you yet, and that's the way it was.
Right. So if he got 30, y'all still probably beat him by 20. I mean,
sure.
They weren't very good.
So what we want to do is make him get 30 the hard way. Take some jump shots.
Yeah.
You're open. Hey, Ricky, you're open. Take it. You're wide open, man. You should take that shot.
No, you know what I tell you every week? I'm open, man.
You're open for a reason, man. I mean, shoot, guys did that. I mean, guys would back off you by 8 feet and bait you. So what we would, don't let them bait you and make you take a shot you don't want to take or you're not good at. What you should do is you should drive. They're giving you space. They want you to take the shot. You should drive at them because that's your power move, and then go past them with what your strength is getting to the basket.
Yeah, hey Mo, Woody says this Jordan guy sounds like he's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't bad. He can play a little bit.
Welcome everybody out here. We want to hear your questions and comments. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead, Mo.
So think about that, Ricky. Remember, just for my point right there, right? Remember the playoff game against Portland when he made like 6 threes in the first quarter?
Yeah.
And what did he do? He did this. Hey, I guess I can make it.
Whatever. I remember that for sure.
Yeah.
We definitely want to hear your questions and comments, anything you're going on. Mo, we're a week from football. We got college football starting week 0 last week. I'm sorry about your Jayhawks, man. It was a good game, though.
What are you sorry about?
What
are you sorry? They won. No, they won. What are you talking about?
Oh, the last time I saw that score, they were trailing Iowa State.
No, they weren't playing Iowa State. That was Kansas State. That was Kansas State, man. Yeah. Wake up, Ricky. Come on. My Jayhawks played Fresno. I don't know who. I can't remember who.
Fresno.
They played them opening up the new stadium they have in Lawrence, Kansas. A beautiful stadium. Yeah, they kicked their butt. Come on, man.
Yeah, 31-7. My bad to all the Jayhawk fans out there.
Come on, man. You know better than that.
And they got the fresh unis too.
Oh, they were the all blue. I like their black uniforms. I like their all blue. I hate their red. Stop wearing red. Jayhawks are red. They're blue. Come on.
Yeah, I like that too. And we got some NBA news we're going to get to. Also, Mo, NFL guys made their cuts today. some careers will end, some young guys will get picked up by other teams. And one of the things I always hear coaches say, regardless of the team, hey, you don't worry about getting cut, just play hard because there's 31 other teams out there looking at your tape.
Well, also, 6 weeks from now, there's going to be 100 injuries in the NFL, right? They need replacements. A lot of those replacements, I mean, a lot of the guys that are getting cut today are ending up on the practice squad, which the practice squad, for people that don't know out there, are players that stay around, they practice with the team, they don't suit up, but they're available. And those guys make about 100 to 200 grand a year.
Yeah.
And it's inevitable in football, they're going to be called. People go down every week. So, you got to stay ready and stay available.
Yeah, so we got that going on. Michael Parsons still hasn't signed yet, Paul. When guys, when a pro athlete holds out, what's his responsibility to his teammates? His first responsibility is to get the best deal he can, and when does that bleed over to, okay, now you're hurting the team?
Well, I think if you're holding out, you're hurting the team, right? But times have changed. I mean, before it used to be you got to do what's right for the team. And if you're under contract, you're playing. He's under contract. He's playing. But those times are long gone. So the guys are holding out even though they're under contract, like Jerry Jones thinks he's under contract, he's going to play, but he's saying he's not. I don't know, if they suspend him or fine him or whatever all that stuff is. But in the long run, if you sign a deal, you get all that money back anyway. So that doesn't mean anything. But as far as now, I think mentality among players for now, and maybe it's right. Take care of yourself and your family first. That's what you're supposed to do. But at the same time, you shouldn't try to hurt your team. And by staying out, you are hurting your team. And I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. He's one of the best defenders in the NFL, one of the best players in the NFL. No question about that. He deserves a lot of money. I think his contract is $25 million right now or something for his last year, something like that. And he's looking for $40 million a year. Okay. But I watched him did you see him at the preseason game yesterday?
I did not.
He's walking in, now all the players have to dress up and they do whatever, and the cameras follow him into the stadium and to the lock, all that crap, whatever. He walks in eating a pile of nachos. He's carrying a bunch of nachos. He's eating the nachos. And then he's on the bench, behind the bench. He's not dressed out. So he's watching a little bit. Then they catch him on the taping massage table, laying down like he's sleeping. I mean, that's not a good look. Come on, man. I mean, those are your teammates out there, right? Those are your guys, right? So act like you're interested a little bit, even if you're not fake it. I mean, come on, man. That's not the right attitude, and you're not getting any sympathy from any fans that they want you back. The Cowboy fans want you back. They want to win, but, don't stop acting like a jerk.
We were talking about this again today before we came on the air. The professionalism in professional sports has changed. You just didn't see stuff like that.
No,
it is what it is.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, when I played there, and veterans, I'm not going to name names. I could that you'll be sitting on the bench, and they're not dressed out. They're injured or whatever, so they're sitting on the end of the bench, and they have those Gatorade cups. Those little plastic cups that say Gatorade, the little green ones. So I look over there, and there's a guy eating popcorn out of his Gatorade cup, or maybe he might have had a beer or something in there. I don't know, because he knew he wasn't playing that night. So don't get me wrong, but they tried to hide it. They put it in the Gatorade cup. Put your nachos in a Gatorade cup. I mean,
who you like in the NFL? I know you're going with your Chiefs again.
I like the Chiefs. I mean, they had a rough year last year, but they were in the Super Bowl or the finals. I can't remember what, but you can't bet against Mahomes, I don't think. And, they just have a good group coming back. I like my Packers coming back a little bit. I like what the Raiders are doing here in Las Vegas. I think they've turned things around with their new coach. But you know what happens, right? The biggest ability is availability. So players go down.
Yeah.
I mean, then your season's over. Your QB goes down and your best defender goes down, and you got problems. So I like my Chiefs again. I do.
Yeah. Tell me who's healthy. And
Yeah.
pro football, they do very few guaranteed contracts. They used to didn't do any, so at least they're doing a few now. And Mo, while the players hadn't been able to do that, is that on the Players Association?
A little bit. It's just the nature of the beast, though. I think, NFL started with no players guaranteed. NBA started with half players guaranteed, and I think it's grown from there, and it takes time. Like I tell the WNBA, you have to have timing and patience. They're only 29 years old, and they're asking for NBA money today. You should be asking for NBA money when they were 29 years old, which the best player in the league made $400,000 for 82 games, 8 months, not 40 games and 4 months. But, it goes, it just kind of goes that way. I mean, it's kind of, and the livelihood, and that's why in the NFL, what blew my mind when I was playing even now is the signing bonuses. I mean, you get 10, 15, $20 million signing bonus. That's one check. Here you go. Here's a check for 20 mil.
Must be nice, man. I mean, that's hard to imagine, but that's where we are. And the WNBA, they are negotiating their next contract, so it'll be interesting to see what's happened there. It's been a rough year for Caitlin Clark. She's been hurt most of the year. She really came in and set the league on fire last year, but she hadn't been able to play very much this year. And Indiana has been struggling. Minnesota.
Well, it's not only Caitlin Clark. Both of their guards went down with season-ending injuries, and now their forward went down. So, people look at it like, well, Caitlin Clark's hurt, so their record's terrible. That's part of it, but three of their other starters are lost for the season too, so you can't recover from that.
Yeah, and Minnesota's sitting atop the standings, 30-7. Atlanta's 24-13. Las Vegas 24-14, but they won 10 straight. And Asia Wilson is just destroying people.
Yeah, she had a 35 and 20 rebound game a couple weeks ago. She's just tearing it up, and that team is figuring it out. They really started bad. They lost a lot of games they shouldn't have, but now they're figuring out. And what I told you before, timing is important. So playing the best basketball at the right time and being healthy at the right time, that can catapult you into a championship. And but Minnesota, when you look at Minnesota, they built like OKC in Indiana. They're very deep. They have 5 players averaging double figures, so they kind of copied that model.
Hey Mo, Wilson is, what is Asia? She's 6'7"?
No. She's 6'4".
6'5"?
Yeah, 6'4". 6'4".
So is that a 7-footer in? Well, they list her at 6'5" anyway.
Yeah.
So in women's basketball, 6'5", is that what? 6'10"?
6'9" probably. In the NBA. I mean, there's players in WNBA that are, 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", Yeah, those are the 7-footers of the WNBA. So she's a power forward, I would think.
Yeah, 6'5". Wow. This is her 7th year. Seems like she just got up there.
But she just went on fire for like the last 4 years, I think, where she's really come on.
Yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on the WNBA. We got some NBA news. Malik Beasley was cleared of the gambling probe that he was under. No charges filed. He's free to sign with anybody. You know, he had a tremendous year here in Detroit with the Pistons, and they were ready to re-sign him until all this stuff came down. And they said, "Hey, we can't wait," and actually signed Duncan Robinson to really fill his shooter spot.
And Levert, right?
And Karis LeVert. Mo, do you think all this has hurt Beasley's value? Because a lot of teams have spent their money, right?
Well, would you sign him on your team if you had a team?
No.
So,
No, he had other stuff other than I mean, he wasn't paying his bills around town. I mean,
in 2020, he had a felony charge of threat of violence. He was arrested, and he settled. You know, people forget about that. That's your background. That's your history, man. So he pulled a gun on someone in front of his house or something. Threat of violence and drug possession. He pleaded guilty, and they dropped part of the plea agreement was to drop, so it's not a felony. But he did that. So you know he's he's in an FBI probe, but there's a lot of people in FBI probes. They can name names and look at people how they want. So they dropped the charges, but that's beside the point. For an NBA team, NBA owners, what did he averaged 16 points a game last year and 4 boards, something like that?
Shot 40% from 3.
Yeah. So do we want to risk that? Do we want to sign him for 20 mil or 25 mil or whatever that number is? Do we want to sign him for that and hope nothing like this happens again? So, it hurt him a lot, even though they dropped the charges, even though maybe he had nothing to do with what they're talking about. But perception is a lot, and your history does come back and bite you in the butt, which it has. So, yeah, and they went out and spent their money, So the good news for Detroit, though, if they want him back, they're like bottom 5 in team salary. So they have the money if they want to, but I don't know if they want to anymore.
Yeah, and besides, they got Duncan. I guess you can never have enough shooting, though. So
no, I mean that's fine, great, but no, yeah, I mean if he would fit in with any eight man rotation, right? He shoots 40% from the 3. I mean, would the Bucks take him? Would the Lakers take him? Yeah, sure. I mean, but it's going to be at a discounted price now.
Man, I'm disappointed that Pistons did not get bigger over the summer. So
yeah,
that really limits him in my book.
So how about this? I'm a GM, man. I'm going to sign Beasley, and then I'm going to trade him for a legit center. That's what I'm going to do.
I'm for that.
Well, that's what. If I'm Detroit, that's what I'm looking at doing. If I can sign him, and you can sign him for a lower number now because of what happened, and then I'm going to look at some centers out there that can start for me, and be in the same salary slot. Perfect.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let me get everybody caught up. You're watching We Got Next. I'm Ricky Hampton with my great friend Paul Mokeski, former Milwaukee Bucks center, 12 years in the NBA, coach, scouted in the NBA, coached overseas, coached in the Olympics. Oh, there's nothing you hadn't done in this game, my brother.
I've coached about everything, man.
Absolutely. That is certainly true. Paul, what do you think about this? The Bulls are going to retire Derrick Rose's jersey this year. His number 1 jersey will be retired by the Bulls. He was a MVP, had an MVP season with Chicago in 2011. Was the number 1 overall pick by the Bulls in 2008. got hurt and came back from all these injuries to play really a long time as a quality backup, and was respected everywhere he went.
I mean, was he MVP of the league one year, I think?
2011.
Yeah, so I think he played 8 years for Chicago, 8 or 9 years, and had, until he got hurt, and that was a tough time for him. But Sidney Moncrief played for the Bucks, and he's in the Hall of Fame, and they retired his number, and I don't see why the Bulls wouldn't retire that number. Now, there's two different ways of retiring a number. You can retire the number and still let players play with that number, or you retire the number and don't let them play, because the Boston Celtics have a lot of retired numbers, but a lot of them are not numbers retired. So people play with those numbers still.
Yeah. Derrick Rose, January 24th. Congratulations to him. Had a outstanding career in the NBA. He was a favorite of Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau loved the way he played, because he played all out, and that's what Tibbs liked. And he would play heavy minutes, and we know that's what Tibbs likes.
Yeah, Tibbs is going to keep the best players on the floor for as long as he can, and and especially if you play both ends of the floor, that's what he loves, and that's what Rose did.
Well, what did you think about his philosophy in New York?
I don't know his philosophy. I mean, you can see that he might have overplayed his. I don't know if that's his philosophy, or he looked at the end of the bench and said, "I got nobody else to put in for you." I mean, that's a philosophy, right? When we were preparing to go to the Olympics, and we had a friendly game against USA, and we're Great Britain, and we have Luol Deng and a couple other good players, but our bench is a bunch of 20-year-old young kids that are playing low-level Europe, and the USA starts kicking our butt in the second quarter, and I look at Chris Finch, the head coach, and I say, "Coach, we need to get Luol Deng out. He's really tired out there." And he goes, "Look over at the scores table. Who are they putting in?" And there's Kobe, and there's LeBron, and there's Dwayne Wade. And he goes, "Okay, look at our bench. Who can we put in for Luol Deng?" I said, "You're right, Coach. Maybe just call timeout. Let's call a timeout."
Well, I've never heard that one. That's a great story, man. So, hey, because we talked about it earlier. You got to trust. Trust is everything for a coach.
Yeah, but a lot of that responsibility is on the coach. So he needed to think about that beforehand in training camp and in regular season games early in the season to find out some guys you trust over there that can play the three different positions: big, wing, guard. You need 3 guys to play those positions: wing, big, guard. You need 3 players. You got to do whatever you can to find those guys. And then you find out over the length of a season, can I trust this guy, this wing replacement, to play 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes? And then you got to use those minutes as wisely as you can. And we've talked about this before. I can play a player a lot of time in the game, but if I get him out with 2 minutes left in the first quarter, that's 2 minutes of game time rest, which is about 5 minutes with fouls and all that. Then I get him the rest in between the first quarter and the second quarter. That's a minute and a half. So now you're looking at he's rested for 7 minutes. Now if I could buy a couple more minutes in the second quarter, he's had 10 minutes of rest. Now I can put him in and play the rest of the second quarter. So that strategy you have to use to rest your players, your better players. Now, injuries and foul trouble throw curveballs at you. That's why depth matters. But,
Yeah, here's one I'm throwing at you. Just thought about it, Mo. What would be your ideal bench? I mean, your ideal bench, you have superstars coming off the bench. But what are you looking for on a bench in terms of personnel? What guys can do? Do you want a guy who can block shots coming off the bench? I know you always want a shooter to be able to come off the bench, but you're looking for some. What would be an ideal bench in terms of versatility?
Well, it depends on my starters, but if I'm looking at, I have a 12-man roster in the NBA that are active, right? I have my 5 starters, so I have 7 spots left, right? So out of those 7 spots, I need a backup point guard, a legitimate backup point guard that I can count on. He's a point guard, right? He can defend the point. He can run the point for me. I need that, number one. Now I need another player that can play the 1, 2, and maybe the 3, right? He could be a defender, but he can play those 3 positions, 1 and 2, and maybe the 3. So now that's 2 spots. I got 5 spots left. Then I want a wing that's a longer wing that can defend. A 3 and D guy. I want a 3 and D guy, right? So now that's 8 spots, right? So I got 4 spots left. Then I want a quality big guy. I want a big that's versatile. He can probably play the 5 and he can probably play the 4. So he's probably athletic. He can knock down shots, whatever. So he can play both the 5 and the 4. That's my 9-player rotation right there. Then I got 3 spots left. I want an absolute knockdown, no miss shooter that could bust up zones. I want a defender that can guard 1 through 4 probably, like a Draymond Green type that can lock down people, right? And I got 1 spot left, and I can fill that with another knockdown shooter, a freaky big that's 7'2" and can block shots. So I'll fill that with that guy. So that's what my roster looks like.
Were there any personnel guys that you saw that you encountered during your career that were good at building rosters like that?
Well, the building the roster is the head coach and it's the general manager and the director of player personnel. But that mix up over my 20 plus years of coaching, I've talked to many, many coaches about that. Like I've talked to NBA coaches, coach. What does your perfect 12-man roster look like? Tell me what guys you're looking for. Then I've talked to college guys. You probably have a 15-man roster. So and I think here in my office somewhere I have breakdowns of what a 10-man roster would look like, what a 12-man roster would look like, and what a 15-man roster would look like. So it's kind of different coach to coach. But I believe you have to look at those positions I just pointed out. So, with your starting 5, you got a really good point guard, a really good 2 that can shoot, a wing that can get to the basket. He can drive, he can defend, he can knock down threes. A 4 that's probably a stretch 4, but he's taller and he can play the 5 if I need him to. And a 5 that's a rim protector, rim runner, can catch lobs, dunk it, and block shots. So that's what you start with, and then you fill them in. You got to have. On a 12-man roster, you got to have at least 3 guys that can actually handle the point and take pressure from really good defensive guards and be able to do that. Then you need a couple bigs that are quality, and then those wing guys. So making up a roster, some coaches vary a little bit. If I'm a defensive guy, I want more defenders. If I'm a small ball guy, maybe I go with what the Warriors do. They don't really have a legit center, but they have more shooters and wings. But I believe a well-balanced roster. Look at the OKC Thunder. Look what they have. They have one of the best balanced rosters we've seen. That's how you win championships.
Very good answer, Mo. That was really insightful.
Let me say, like a coach, I'm standing up there and I'm coaching this game, and I see that my point guard's in foul trouble. I need to look on the bench and say, well, I can put Sam in or I can put Pete in. Okay, I'm going to pick which one. Oh, shoot, my big's in trouble. I need a big that can score. I need to look on my bench and find one. I need a big that can protect the rim. I got to find that guy. Or maybe that big that can score is my 4-man that started, and now I just move him over to the 5. So when you're standing up there as a coach and you're coaching a game and something happens, some guy turns his ankle in the second quarter and he goes to the locker room. You got to have 2 guys that can fill a spot.
Yeah. Hey, but you know what? I bet that's changed in college basketball now, because everybody on the bench now is transferring at the end of the season.
So if I'm a college coach and half my team transferred, I'm going to go in the transfer portal and I'm going to pick out the guys I want. There's my rim runner. There's my shooter. He went to Mississippi State. This guy went to there. I watched film on him. I talked to his guys. You can pick out your new roster for a new season. Easy speasy. Let's go.
Yeah. I just don't like that, though, Mo.
No, I don't agree with it, but that's the rules there are. NIL, you have to have enough money to pay players, period. And you got to work the transfer portal. That's the way it is. No.
So you may be talking to a college team, and if I was any college coach out there, I'd certainly call Big Mo up and have him speak with his players. And will you address guys? Because it's common sense. Only 5 guys are going to be out there at a time. So you're going to be sitting some. And you just can't run away from that if you're not getting the minutes that you want.
But grass is not always greener. Just look at, there's probably over 3,000 players in college basketball, men's basketball, that went in the transfer portal, and there's probably 1,500 of them that are still in there right now when college starts this week, and they don't have anywhere to play, no scholarship. So you got to beware of what you're doing and be on top of it, because at this point you don't want to make a mistake that's going to slow you down for a year or two.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not going somewhere else. Maybe it's working on your coach at whatever college you're at says you need to get a better 3-point shot. So all I did this summer was work on my 3-point shot, or I got to be a better ball handler. So that's all you did. So when you come back in the fall, like they are right now, and all of a sudden the coach watches you and said, damn, I told Ricky to work on his ball handling. Look at it. He's bringing the ball down. He's making good decisions and making good passes. I'm going to play him. It's not brain surgery.
But, Paul, you're exactly right. My son, Ricky Hampton, who coaches at the Lake Michigan Redhawks, he had guys leave, couldn't get anywhere, and I didn't want to come back. He's like, we filled your spot, man. You said you were gone. Yep.
And actually, you left. Why would I take you back even if I had a spot?
Yeah.
Why would I take
you?
You left? Yeah, so you're out of luck. Sorry, I filled your spot. And guess what? There's all kinds of guys out there to fill your spot. They're just waiting. And you know what? Where those guys will end up? They'll end up, at some other situation that's probably not very good. And now they got to start all over again.
Absolutely. Woodage has a question. Talking about rosters, are the Pelicans going to blow it up? I think they've already blown it up without even trying.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta look and see.
They were 21-61 last year. They're in the West. The Western Conference has probably never been so deep, Paul, and that's where they are.
Yeah, but you got Zion. So you should win a championship with Zion because you're paying him $40 million, by the way. Okay. Then you got Jordan Poole, who the Warriors didn't want. Then he went to the Washington. They didn't want him. And now you got him, right? And then you got Murphy and Murray and Looney and Fears and guys I have never heard of. So I think they've already blown it up.
Yeah, well, they got Hunter Dickinson, Jayhawk. Former Wolverine and Jayhawk.
Yep, We'll see if he makes the team. He might be overseas next year. Who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man, New Orleans, they're in big trouble, Paul. Just from the conference they're in and their situation, and they bet on the wrong guy with Zion Williamson.
Yes. That's where, one pick that you thought was your future and you stuck with them, right?
Yeah.
Through injuries, through laziness, through heavyweight out of shape, through more injuries. Now what? Now you have an athlete making $40 million that nobody really wants him unless you eat half of his contract, which you might have to move on. When's the time to move on?
And they drafted what's the kid? Derek Queen out of Maryland, who's a big guy. So I don't know if they would try to play him and Zion at the same time because they're both big, undersized big men. Yeah, that's not a good fit. So what is to answer your question? I think it's kind of self-evident here. What does he say here? Rumors are they're looking to move Zion, Murphy, and Herb Jones.
Yeah, the problem with that is somebody has to want them and take them. That's the problem. That's a problem. It takes two to tango. You know, and if they get off Zion, which they probably should do, what do you get in return? You're gonna have to lick your wounds now, man. That's what you're gonna have to do.
Yeah. Zion to Chicago. Yeah. Well, that's the same thing because Chicago was kind of starting over there.
Yeah, here's the thing, though. When you talk about a change of scenery may help him, that's true sometimes, but a lot of times it's not. Because guess what? You are what you are. So Zion's been hurt his whole career. He's never been in great shape his whole career. He's dealt with his athleticism to get away with it in his whole career. And he's put up some audacious numbers, but do they translate into wins? No. So, you trade him to Chicago and, he's not going to become a great in-shape offensive phenom that can do a lot of different things.
And Mo, this is unbelievable. We were just talking about the Pelicans and Derek Queen, and something just came over the wire. He'll be out the next 12 weeks. He just had surgery for undisclosed injury. I mean,
what is an undisclosed injury? What's that? I mean, come on, man. Really? Ricky, I don't believe that. Sorry. That's not true. The fact is true.
I'm just reading the report here.
I'm saying the report is true, but an undisclosed injury is not what it is. I mean, why would you say that? Why would you say an undisclosed injury? Why would you say knee, ankle, foot, hand, wrist, shoulder, blood clot, whatever? Everybody says whatever. Why would you say undisclosed injury? There's something else in there. And guess what? If I was player personnel or somebody for another team and they're calling you going, hey, he's going to do this. Sorry, I'll talk to you later. Click.
Okay. And man, my man, Joe Dumars is down there now. I love Joe D. And the injury is called a torn ligament in his left wrist.
For who?
So.
For who? Who's that for?
Derek Queen.
Oh, so it wasn't undisclosed injury.
It was that report said it. Went down in summer league with a hand injury and was diagnosed as a torn ligament in his left wrist. And
so
he's going to miss 12 weeks.
So they'll operate, they'll put a pin in there, and then he'll rehab, and he should be okay. That's, to me, when someone says undisclosed injury, that's a red flag. But now you tell me what it is, then that makes more sense.
What is it saying? Zion's contract is friendly because he didn't get all his guaranteed money because of the injuries. I have to look at that. I don't think it matters what you're paying him, what age, because you don't know if he's going to be on the floor is the problem.
Yeah, what kind of shape he's going to be in or whatever. I mean, either way, you're going to pay him a lot of money. So it's whether you want to do that or not, I mean, right. Look at Ben Simmons, man. We talked about him earlier. He was MVP candidate years ago in Philly, and then look what happened.
You know what? It was about 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And again, Zion was not playing. He was in street clothes, but it was pregame or something. He came out on the floor and dunked the ball 2 or 3 times, but he wasn't playing in his street clothes. I'm like, dude, If you're gonna do all that, go get dressed.
Yeah, I mean that's like eating nachos when you come to a game. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Why? Why would you do that?
Don't you see
So
that?
so if I'm part of that organization, here's what I think, right? Zion does that. Either he's not hurt and he's fooling us, or he's that stupid and he does it before a game, or he's not hurt and he wants to embarrass us before a game and show people what he can do. Those three things are what I'm thinking about. And none of them are
And
good.
none of them are good.
None of them are good. You know? None of them are, hey, coach, I just went out and did a 360 dunk. I'm going to put my uniform on and we're going to play. Yeah, that would be good, but that's not what it was.
No. Not sure. Now, Mo, this is we just got a few more minutes left. I just want to throw this out here. And hey, if you got some questions, we see you out there. We appreciate you tuning in. If you got a question or comment, send it to us right quick. We got a few more minutes left. But Mo, apparently the Golden State Warriors got a thing, according to reports, got a thing for LeBron James.
No.
And I'm like, is LeBron 20 again or something?
What do you mean got a thing? I mean, that's just ridiculous.
They have inquired about a trading for him.
Yeah, so is everybody. So, so what? I mean, people have no idea what calls go on all summer, all year. General managers are calling everybody all the time. Hey, you like Luka? Hey, you like whatever. I mean, and they don't trust each other because they lie to each other and you find out most trades are done between general managers that know each other. That's where most trades are done because they trust each other. That's when they're done. But I don't think. You know what I heard? There's a report out that Shaquille O'Neal is coming back and he's playing for the Warriors. That's what I heard. I heard that. Someone said that, and I heard that the Warriors called back.
If he didn't be their best son. I don't see that. LeBron, I don't know what kind of trade value a guy that's almost 40, as good as he is, would have.
Oh, you'd have to give up draft picks, starters, everything, because if anybody did that, they're going to be a team that can make a run at a championship for the next 2 years.
Right?
Is it worth it? Toronto sold the farm and got Kawhi Leonard and won one championship, and then he was gone. And if you called them today, was it worth it for 1 year? You got a ring. Yes, absolutely. We would do it again right now. So that's the way the NBA is. That's their mentality.
Yeah. This quick little note: Luka and Giannis are playing in the Euro basketball. Wemby is sitting this out.
Who is?
Wembyana is not going to play in the Euro basketball championship, which starts on the 27th and runs through the 14th. 24 countries and several NBA players. In fact, not only Giannis, Luka, the Joker, all going to be playing for their respective countries. Yeah,
they're playing this is a qualifier for the Olympics in 2028. That's why they play. And that's why no one from the USA is playing. They're sending a bunch of G League guys to play in this. That's what they send. So
I see why you say USA is going to have a lot of hard time winning the gold medal now. Just looking at some of these guys playing for.
Well, look at the roster. Well, look at the whole roster. France has 8 NBA players on it. Canada has 10. And if USA puts Steph Curry and whoever else on the floor, they're probably not going to have the best player on the floor at that time, because the team's going to have Luka, the team's going to have Giannis, the team's going to have the Joker, all on the floor. So they're the best players. So that never happened before. USA always had the best player of both teams on the floor. Usually they had 5 guys that were better players than anybody on the other team starters.
That's a great point.
That's not true anymore.
Who's the best American player right now, Mo?
Probably Steph.
And he's 30, what?
Well,
36?
well, Joker, not U.S. Luka, not U.S. Shea Alexander, not U.S. Okay.
No, I'm with you.
I mean, who is the best American-born player now? Booker, maybe. Curry, maybe. Kevin Durant, maybe. Still.
He's 37.
LeBron is still one of the best 5 players in the league, right? 10 players in the league.
He's damn 50.
So that makes him one of the best players, U.S. players, right now. He is.
That's not good all kudos to him. I love what he's done in his career, but that shows we got work to do, man.
Yeah, and it starts younger, but I don't know if those days are past us.
Steve says Ant-Man.
Yeah, Ant-Man is there. Yeah. He's going to be the star of 2028 for sure. He has to be. Tatum.
That won't be enough, though, Mo.
Tatum, when he comes back from injury. Jaylen Brown. But tell me any American bigs that, Holmgren? Harkenstein's not American. He's German. Right. So, who's the best big American player right now?
The best big American.
I'm waiting.
He's not.
Oh, Holmgren weighs 225.
Yeah, he's long.
Yeah.
And he's feisty, but
that's what's scary now. That's what's scary for Team USA.
Yeah.
Guards, wings, we'll hang in there. But we're not better. We're not better than Shea Alexander and Murray, who are both Canadian, by the way. And we're not better than Luka. So, that's, that. But the big position is the biggest position that USA is falling behind, right? I mean, you got Wemby, you got, all the other guys that are at that level, and they're not American.
Steve says not Brooke Lopez, but even now, Brooke is one of the better, bigger USA players.
Yeah, I'm not.
At this stage of his career, right.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Nurkic, he's not American. I don't even know how to go down the line.
We don't have
Anthony Towns, maybe.
Who's a 3-point shooter.
Yeah, but he's a legit 6'11", so This is the Corn Belters. The Corn Belters. They're a minor league baseball team out of Normal, Illinois. The Corn Belters. They sent us that. So,
nice.
Steve, as soon as the Brewers send me a hat, I'll wear it. Tell them that.
Tell them Big Mo from Milwaukee sent it.
That's right. Send me a hat, man. Maybe you'll see me with one here, Steve. The Las Vegas Little League team won the U.S. championship. They lost to China Taipei, but they won the U.S. championship. They did a heck of a job right here from Las Vegas.
Absolutely. Hey, Mo, definitely good to be back with you, brother. Check us out and subscribe at Sports Fluent. We're here every Monday. Looking forward to talking with you. We got the NFL coming up. We got
WNBA Playoffs. Yep.
And Mo, before you know it, guys will be in camp for the NBA.
About 2 months. Yep.
Yeah, we're right around the corner. So we're going to get out of here. For my great friend Paul Mokeski, I'm Ricky Hampton. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Next time.
Oh, Canada. Put on a suit. drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
No, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.